Hey guys, I'm going to show you how I brought a 1.5-star prestige school, Northern Illinois Huskies, in the MAC conference, all the way from a 6-7 season to when I was hired in 2024 to 5 years later, a 12-3 second round of the college football playoff season, a very successful season. As you can see, my coach, Jack Dingleberry. Now, I haven't played a single game in this dynasty yet. I wanted to see if my methods were true and that they worked and that I could just simulate and win the games. And obviously they did after our 12-win season. I'm going to show you the main bread and butter of Dynasty, and that is recruiting. And I'm going to show you how I go about doing it. So without further ado, let's get started. I apologize for the audio. This is the first time I've ever had to record off the Xbox. Usually I'm a PC gamer, so I'm sorry about the audio. So again, looking at here, I was hired in 2024. 6-7 that season, 6-7, 5-7, 6-7, and then we hit our big year of 12-3. We won the MAC. We actually got to the second round of the college football playoff. We beat NC State in the first round and then lost to TCU down in Arlington. So again, looking at here, nothing's crazy. I run a pro style offense and I run a base 3-4. So let's go to the bread and butter of this video and how I got a successful season like that. And it's literally just all about recruiting. So obviously here you're going to go to your startup screen. And the first thing you're going to see in the off season or the preseason, is set up recruiting board and scout prospects. You're going to take a look at that. Now, my prospects are going to look a little different just because I came off a very successful season. When you have a team that is literally a half-star, 1-star, 2-star program, a lot of the players that are going to be interested in you are ones that are potentially you're not going to want, but you're just going to have to take and see if you can build them up. So obviously your prospect board here, you have your prospect board. This is where your filter, where you can just see what you're looking for or what prospects you have on your board. Now, to actually see the prospects, you got to go to your prospect list. And now here we go, a ton of prospects. Now, the green dot next to them, that means that those are players that are already interested in me. So if you take a look at the bottom right of the screen, we're looking at this first guy here. He's ranked 1,800. His name is Zach Pete. If you look in the bottom right-hand corner, you see NIU is number 5 on his list. So if they have you in the top 8 of their schools, if they're already interested in your program, they will have a green dot. So as you can see, I have a big prospect right here. And here's the thing too, that I'm going to talk about in a little bit is Pipeline. He's from Byron, Illinois, which is weirdly enough, that's only like 30 minutes away from me in real life. But anyways, I'm going to talk about Pipeline in a little bit here, but that is a massive recruit. I need a QB. As you can see, it's a need. I'm going to go ahead and click A. He's going to go on my prospect board. Let's go ahead and just grab another random Joe Schmo. I'm just going to grab, I need a right guard. It's prospect 173. I'm going to grab him. So again, real quick, I have really good prospects that are interested in my school right now because I have built the program up from nothing. When you start off, you are going to have prospects that are in the 2,000s, 3,000s, maybe even 4,000s. You have to grab what you can get at that time. Now, one thing I want to talk about mainly over here is if I can scroll over and have my cursor over it is the state. Pipeline is everything when it comes to recruiting, first off. I can tell you right now that all of my recruits in my first 3 years were people all in the Midwest. Illinois, Wisconsin, Ohio. Now, when you make your coach, you can set your own pipeline state. I did Ohio because in real life, Ohio actually does have a decent amount of football talent. And plus, it's right next to Illinois, right across from Indiana. So I wanted to pick a state that was close. So obviously, being in Northern Illinois, Wisconsin, and Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio are all pipeline states. So if you press your right trigger or whatever system you're using, you can go to any state. You can go to top prospects. You can go to pipelines. Now, this is your bread and butter right here. This is going to show you every single prospect that lives in your vicinity or is considered a pipeline. Now, why I have Georgia and Florida in a pipeline is because those are my coordinators' pipelines. That's also something to keep in mind too, is you can hire and fire coordinators, and those coordinators come with pipeline states. So I made sure that I found a coordinator that not only matched what I wanted in my offense, but I made sure he had a good pipeline state. My offensive coordinator's pipeline is Florida, and everybody knows Florida is a massive school when it comes to football, state when it comes to football talent. So again, what I like to do starting off, this is kind of a cheat code, is just go to my pipelines. Go down. I have a couple prospects interested already in me in my pipeline. Now, some of these aren't interested, and that is okay. That is okay. They are going to give you a better chance of recruiting them if they are in your pipeline state, because you're going to see in a little bit here that when you recruit them, a lot of them care about being close to home. And that is something that you can hit really hard on later on when I show you actually how to recruit. So again, we're just going to pick 3 prospects here just for a demonstration. We're going to go right back to our recruiting board. And you can see right here, these 3 prospects that I chose all have 8 to 9 schools picked out. And I am in all of those top 8 schools. So I'm 6th here, 3rd here, which is crazy because you look at all these schools and then you got Northern Illinois right there. And then you got me right above right here. So now in the preseason, you can't really recruit them, but what you can do is you can offer them a scholarship. So you'll just go over here, click offer scholarship. Honestly, just take the time to offer them all a scholarship. Now the clock next to that is your hours. If you look at the top right, I already used 15 hours offering scholarships. You have to manage your hours accordingly. You can't just hand recruits 80 hours of your time and then you have no hours left over for the other recruits that are interested in you, and then you're going to end up getting 1 or 2 prospects. Now, obviously, if you've played college football either in real life or you've played this game before, you can't build a roster of 1 or 2 players. It's just not going to succeed. You just won't succeed. So now, when you get into the season, if you look at recruit, you have search social media, DM the player, contact friends and family, send the house, which means give everything you possibly have to get this player on your roster, get them committed. We'll talk about all those in a second. Right now, I just wanted to show you the basics. So we have these. We have our prospect list, our recruiting board. Now, I'll go back and add more as we go, but I just want to use this as a demonstration. So we set up our recruiting board. We're going to go ahead, and I'm going to take a look at upgrade coach skills real quick. So if you see the currency at the top right where I have 10 coins, if you go to upgrade coach skills, you're going to get points, and you can use these points to basically upgrade your coach. Now, as you can see in the center, I'm pointed at the recruiter. Why? Because I spent a lot of my points trying to make my coach a better recruiter. So I'm going to click on that for us. And as you can see, there's tiers of each position. So let's just look at QB real quick. I have them all unlocked, but you would spend 5 points each to unlock each tier. So if you look at tier 1, quarterbacks take less time to fully scout. Tier 2, recruiting actions have bigger impacts on QBs. Tier 3, increase weekly recruiting hours for QBs. So if you go through here, I spent all of my ranking up coins on recruiter. It's the easiest way to help you get more value out of recruiting. And I cannot tell you enough that these tier upgrades that I've done for my coach have helped me land big recruits when I needed them. So we're going to go back. Now, again, I'll add more prospects to my board later. I just want to use this as a demonstration. We're going to go into the next week and we're going to get into the actual season, and then you'll see how recruiting is a little bit different. So we have a bye week first. That's great. We don't have to worry about playing. We're going to go right to our recruiting, and we're going to go to our recruiting board. As you can see, there's 2 bars below him. See how there's 2 different bars? There's like a bright colored one and a dark colored one. The dark colored one is how much you've advanced recruiting him. So week by week, I have gone up that much by recruiting him just for offering the scholarship. See, I offered a scholarship, and you can see the green arrow, I went up, and the green arrow, I went up, just for offering a scholarship. Now, when you have a prospect board set up, you can only have 35 at a time. You can only offer 35 scholarships at a time. Keep that in mind. So usually your prospect board will have about 18 to 25, maybe even all the way up to 35 players. So that means, for example, if I go to recruiting here, I can't just add action and send the house on every single one of them, because I will run out of hours after 4 or 5, 6 prospects, and then we are screwed. If you are a lower prestige school, you will have less hours than the bigger schools. The bigger schools will beat you to the better recruits every single time. So you need to pay attention to that. And what you're going to do to counter that is you're going to look at contact friends and family. It is literally half the cost to send the house, but almost has the same amount of maximum influence. If you look at the right, you see the 4 green arrows. You go to send the house, it has 5. Contact friends and family has 4. You're getting a ton of value for half of the amount of hours. So what I like to do is I can do contact friends and family for about 12 to 15, maybe even all the way up to 20 recruits at a time. And I will save amount of hours, and I don't even have to worry about scheduling visits or anything, because all I've done is offered the scholarship, and I've done contact friends and family. See how it says 25? That means I've spent 25 hours on this guy, 25. So if you're a small school, you can honestly offer up to, 10 to 15 players a good amount of value to them by just contacting their friends and family. And now what friends and family also does, if you look at the right, you see all of their motivations and how my school ranks with their motivations. So look at the very bottom there, at the third one from the bottom, proximity to home, check mark. That means that's something he's interested in. I found that out from contacting his friends and family. So not only does friends and family show that you are interested in him, the friends and family let you know what the player is and isn't interested in himself. So you can see the green check mark, he cares about being close to home. So look at my close to home rank, A. So when I go to schedule my visit with him, you have to pick one of these things to focus on, one of those categories, whether it's brand exposure, championship contender, conference prestige. If he cares about proximity to home and it's an A, I'm going to click that every time because that's going to get me the most value out of his visit. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to get him to commit to me because I have such a good proximity to home and he cares about that. Now, if he cared about playing time, which you're going to find out more once you scout him more and recruit him more, then that's something I would focus on too, because his playing time right now at my school would be an A+. He might even play as a true freshman. We don't know that yet right away, but that's what we're going off of. So as you can see, you kind of want friends and family has more value because you're finding out what these players want, and you can also do that in other ways too. Oops, I'm sorry, I exited out. Let me go back. You can also do that through just DMing them. You can find out things about them, or you can search their social media, and it will give you ideas of what you want. Now, soft shell, hard shell, sway. These will come later in the weeks when you have some real competition against landing these recruits. If you're going against the Missouris, the Georgias, the Alabamas, or just other schools in your conference in your low prestige school. What sway does is it will tell the recruit that what things you focused on, whether it's playing at home or what they care about with championship contender, all of that, it cancels out what the other schools tell them. So I can sway him to proximity to home, and that's the only category that he will care about with my school only. I know that's kind of hard to explain, but basically it cancels out all the other schools and their ranking towards that subject, and he only focuses on mine. You only want to sway when you think you're about to lose him, when you have some serious competition for that recruit. So as you can see, now I want to go back to prospect list because this is huge. What I would like you to do as a beginning school is don't go to recommended. Obviously, recommended is going to show you the positions you need. Always go to my pipelines and just select some here. And now let's do this for example. Let me grab a player that is in my pipeline that isn't interested to my school, and I will show you. So let's grab this guy here. He's not interested in my school. He's a 4-star. He lives in Illinois. I'm going to target him, and I'm going to show you this. So I'm going to go to my recruiting board. I'm going to do just what I did with everybody else. I'm not going to put extra effort into him. I'm going to do contact family and friends. Now we're going to back up, and now let's just advance a week. And I want to see if I end up getting on his board just because I'm a pipeline school and I live close to him. So obviously I'm taking a hit for you guys. I'm advancing a week without even really recruiting players. I'm taking a hit for you guys to show you this video. So we're going to advance a week. So now when you advance a week, it's going to tell you about these players. It's going to tell you about the schools that they like, who they're interested in, what they've cut down to, either top 8, top 5, top 3. You can only schedule visits when they're down to top 5. So I made the top 8 in all of these, and I'm actually first in all of their rankings. So we're going to go ahead and advance. Now I want to go take a look at that player that we looked at, that we were recruiting, that wasn't interested in our school. So we're going to go down and we're going to look. Boom. I am number 2. And I put absolutely no effort into this player other than showing that I'm interested. I contacted his friends and family. I offered a scholarship. I got boosted to number 2 on his ranking. And why that is because I am a pipeline school. Now, you are going to use that on the other recruits that you find, whether they're ranked 2,000, 3,000, 2,500, 1,500. Use the pipeline mechanic on your prospect list. Now, the transfer portal, I'm not going to go over in this video, but basically you can use the transfer portal to recruit players the same exact way in the offseason. It gives you 4 weeks to recruit them. Now, we won't worry about that. But right now, what I want you to focus on with recruiting, and this will help you change your program around immediately, is use the pipeline. The pipeline will always give you a chance to recruit players. Now, your pipeline is going to look different than mine, but just going through here, you're obviously not going to get players like this right away. I had to build this up after 4 or 5 years. You're going to have to cycle down and find players that are way down below ranked because that's just how it's going to go. But you find the pipeline players, you have a chance to land them. Spread your hours out. Don't just put 50, 60, 70 hours into one player because if you miss him, you are going to miss out on those 4 or 5 other players that aren't getting really recruited. So now let's talk about scouting real quick. Over here you see scouting 0%. You can use hours to scout players. And the scouting will tell you that if they are a gem or if they are not a gem. Now, before you even scout, you're going to find players that aren't getting recruited basically the whole year. There's a reason for that. It's because other teams have scouted and they have found out that he is a dud and nobody really wants to recruit him. But there's also some that are way in the 800s, 900s, 1000s, thousands, that are 3-star, even 2-star players. And you can find out that some of these players are actually worthy of like top 300 rank based off of scouting. So we're just going to go ahead and I'm going to show you scouting. Boom, green gem. That means this guy is an absolute stud. We have to have him. Now, from what scouting showed us is it gave us some of his attributes like safety value, fan favorite, clear-headed. Ones like road dog are really important. That means they play better on the road. Fan favorite means they play good at home. So we found out that this guy is an absolute gem. We want him on our roster. Now let's check out some of these. I want to see if we can find one that is a dud. Boom, perfect. So we scouted this player, 4-star player. Turns out he's kind of overrated. Now, would I still recruit him if I was a school and I needed a player like this? Absolutely. It's just telling you that he's pretty overrated for what his ranking is. He's probably not a mid 200 nationally ranked player. He's probably more like a 400, 500, 600. Still a really good player. But now, when you're a smaller school, players like this, you want to feast on because the big schools are going to smell them and be like, I don't want that. That's perfect for small schools like Northern Illinois, MAC schools, Coastal Carolina, Sun Belt schools, 2-star, 1-star programs to try and take a chance on these guys. And some of these guys will actually bite, especially if they are pipeline. So as you can see, my interest has gone way up on these players. He's already locked out number 9, which was Purdue. So he's at his top 5. Now, as the weeks go on, they'll cut down the top 5, top 3, things like that. You'll schedule a visit. When you schedule the visit, it will show you what you want to focus the visit on. You want to click on things that they're interested in, and you will find out what they're interested in from contacting their friends and family. Again, the value in using the 25 hours and contact friends and family is so useful at the beginning. It'll show you what they want, if your school fits that want, and if that's the player you need. That's a basic on recruiting. That's how I've turned NIU in from a 5-win school to a 12-win college playoff football school in just 5 short years. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it useful. If you have questions, let me know, and I'll see you another time.